Hey, what's happening, YouTube? Today, we're gonna answer the big question of what is USAID. If you're not convinced at the end of this clip, you have to leave a comment. If you're convinced, please give a like.
Do you want to know what it is?
That is my only question. Do you really want to know what USAID is?
Do you want to know what it is?
All right, let's begin, since you don't believe me.
Elon Musk says it is, quote, a viper's nest of radical left Marxists who hate America. Okay. Supporters say it saves lives and projects American power and influence. So what is USAID? Well, the United States Agency for International Development was set...
Wait. United States Agency for International Development. Not aid, agency. It's an international agency. Not central, this one's international. Okay.
Set up in 1961 by President John F. Kennedy.
If we did not, were not so heavily involved, our voice would not speak with such vigor. And as we do not want to send American troops to a great many areas where freedom may be under attack, we send you.
Oh, excuse me? So where freedom is under attack, we don't send troops, we send you? Who is that? Who is
We're not so heavily involved. Our voice would not speak with such vigor. And as we do not want to send American troops to a great many areas where freedom may be under attack, we send you.
Oh, okay. Let's begin.
World who you're funding. Should we be funding the Academy of Military Medical Research in China? They're now off limits. But did we fund them? And who was making the decision? You know who ran the PREDICT program? UC Davis. Have you had any conversations with UC Davis about research in China and whether it was advisable?
So again, to set the record straight, first of all, the PREDICT program ended in 2019.
Wait a minute. Wait, this reminds me. Wait. Who's got this vibe? How's this vibe, guys? How's this vibe?
Hello, Landy.
I hear you're still looking for me.
Let's see it.
We have people,
and yet it goes on in other forums and other names.
That's certainly not USAID program.
Well, you have a program called Emergency Pandemic Threats Program still, don't you?
If I could just finish in response to the first set of allegations, we have provided hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents related to the PREDICT program for the very reason that you say, because we are in
not to us.
We are, again, as I know you had an exchange with Secretary Blinken as well, consistent with longstanding practice.
Not going to give them to us.
Responsive to the committees of jurisdiction.
Not going to. You've been consistent in not giving us any information.
That's not true.
But what you're
we've
saying
provided
is,
hundreds of pages in response to the Karen ranking. To the Senate, Homeland Security, and Government Affairs Committee, for example. We've had extensive
we've been requesting this and gotten none of it. I'm on that committee as well. The thing is what we get from you and from the State Department at large is that if Senator Menendez signs it, you'll give us documents. Until then, you'll give us nothing. And we have gotten nothing, zero. You said will not be providing any documents. I now have 25 senators have sent you a letter, and you aren't responding.
It's classified.
And we want to.
It's classified.
See the scientific grants. We give you the money. The taxpayers give you the money. We deserve to know where the money went, whether it happened. Look, you're right. It ended in 2019. When did the virus come about? In about 2019. Some of the research proposals that came about in 2018 were Wuhan Institute of Virology asking for money to create a virus with a furin cleavage site in it, a coronavirus, a SARS-like virus with a furin cleavage site. That's exactly what COVID turned out to be. They wanted money to create such a virus. So we want to know, are there other research proposals that you either granted or denied that were on the same veins of creating viruses that could have become COVID-19? We can't tell because you won't give us the information.
Again, consistent with longstanding practice, we are providing extensive documentation. We have a whole
That's
team of
just
people
not
who do
true.
nothing other than
That's
look
just
back
not
and
true.
predict.
That is not
It
true.
is factually accurate.
That is
It
not
is.
true.
The fact that-
Everything we have asked, we have not gotten. I have not seen one document on the Predict program.
You're not gonna see any documents. It's classified. As people just don't get it. It's classified. I told you at the beginning, right? And you're still not getting it. It's classified. All right, let's have a look at another clip here. Let's have a look.
Well, Elon, I'm a little worried, particularly with this USAID stuff.
And let's not forget, USAID advances
Not
national
aid.
security, works
Oh, not aid, AID.
to protect human rights and improve global health. So why they're going after that?
Well, let me...
I don't think that's what they said. It was for when they can't send troops, they send them. I don't know. Not aid, not health. I'm sorry.
Let me first, Bill. Frankly, I think you should rather be worried about the Epstein client list, okay? So your question will be, why are they going after USA? How about I pull up a list?
Wait a minute.
Client list, okay?
Wait.
So your question will be, why are they going after...
Wait. Come on, guys. Oh.
Frankly, I think you should rather be worried about the Epstein client list, okay? So your question will be, why are they going after USAID? How about I pull up a list? This one is not as famous as the list that you're familiar with, but this is a list of the taxpayer-funded USAID projects. $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt.
Health? No.
$8 million to Politico, a propaganda
Not health, not education.
arm of the Democratic Party, just like this show. $47,000 for transgender opera in Colombia. What is
Not health, not education.
that about? $2 million for sex changes in
Not health, not education.
Guatemala. You will love this one, Bill. $1 million for bats research in Wuhan, China.
Uh-huh.
$20 million on a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. Like it's U.S. taxpayers' responsibility to bring fucking Cookie Monster to Iraq. And the
And the funny part is that's not even what the money will be spent on. That's not what the money will be spent on. Okay, let's give it a little bit here. Listen to what also Joe Rogan found as what they use the money for.
I don't know the number offhand, but
What the fuck?
well, you have to realize that basically we had a shadow apparatus functioning, and it involves all kinds of things. It involves payoffs to people who didn't deserve them. It involves contracting to entities that were necessary to get the work done. So I don't think we can properly understand what these numbers mean and what they're actually being used for, but it was a racket.
Well, we were always wondering, like, why is our debt so high? Why is the national debt?
Yep. You can never figure out right at the bottom because it's funding some clandestine projects. That's why.
So high? Like, why is our deficit so insane? Well, this is it. I mean, how about the one where they paid $236 billion, like, for chargers? Do you know that they were trying to set up chargers?
You mean
Not chargers.
car chargers, and they only built a couple of them?
Excuse me. $40 billion for electric car ports. 8 ports have been built. You know how crazy that is? $40 billion for carports.
But I have to say, as much as this is shocking, I wasn't surprised. I thought that effectively our entire system had been turned into a racket and that we were basically being fed a cover story from it. And it's weird to now have the evidence of this, but I think it was apparent that whatever had taken...
Yep. Lies. Pulling the wool over your eyes.
over our system wasn't interested in the well-being of average people, that it was interested in the power of the state to take people's resources and redistribute them, and that really is what's been going on.
CIA Director John Ratcliffe just announced this week that he is...
Hold on. Here's some proof. Let's check out how the CIA fits into the whole USAID.
CIA Director John Ratcliffe just announced this week that he is extending Donald Trump's invitation for early resignation to the men and women at CIA. Now, here's what I think is going to happen.
Okay, let's hear it.
As someone who has actually resigned from CIA, let me be the first one to tell you that CIA is unlike any other organization in the federal government. In large part, it's because CIA has a clandestine mission, a secret mission, some might call undercover, other might call covert. What that means is that not every employee at CIA is officially affiliated with CIA. So that's very different than something...
Okay, and who are they affiliated with, some of them? USAID?
Like, say, Department of State or Homeland Security or Health and Human Services. When you work for IRS, everybody in the building works for IRS. But when you work for CIA, you actually might, on paper, appear to work for somebody else.
USAID?
Because there are certain officers at CIA who are categorized under a clandestine mission set. Paramilitary, core collectors, etc., etc. So,
and spies? Don't get me wrong. Not everybody in USAID is a spy, right? There'll definitely be people who are there trying to help people, but a certain percentage is there in spies to be deployed into these countries to execute missions.
Inside of CIA, which is largely broken into 4 different divisions, if you will, every division hosts a certain number of clandestine officers. While public estimates say that CIA has 20,000 or more CIA officers, in my experience, it's actually quite a bit smaller than that. Not only that, but it's only about 8 to 10% of its entire employee base that are officially under the clandestine mission set, which means that less than 10% of less than 21,000 officers are considered to be so sensitive that they can't be officially affiliated with CIA. So when Director Ratcliffe extends the invitation of early resignation to CIA officers, he's really only able to extend it to about 90% of the officer base. But when you look at the details, it's actually even smaller than that. Now, CIA is broken into 4 primary components.
Okay.
There's a Directorate of Operations, a Directorate of Analysis, a Directorate of Administration, and a Directorate of Science and Technology. Inside each of these directorates, like we discussed earlier, there is a certain contingent of officers who are clandestinely assigned to those offices, which means they are not officially or overtly affiliated with CIA. Their tax returns come from somewhere else.
USAID?
Their places of designated business are somewhere else.
USAID?
By all appearances, an open source search would say that this person actually lives and works somewhere else.
USAID. Thank you very much.
NIAID, the NIH, the other funding agencies, but was done by USAID for EcoHealth Alliance. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, it's interesting because the White Coat Waste Project is an organization that works to stop taxpayer-funded animal torture. The U.S. government is actually the top funder of animal torture in the world, and so they inadvertently got caught up in this entire mess a few years ago when they happened to be tracing gain-of-function research and found that it was illegally happening in the Wuhan lab because gain-of-function research is animal torture. And so they started ringing the alarm about this, but of course it was buried by the mainstream media and by the government for many, many years, so it's been hard.
I'm sorry, we don't have the documents.
Getting eyeballs on it. But what's interesting as well, Dr. Fauci and the NIH and the NIAID have caught a lot of the brunt of this, deservedly so. There have been many government agencies that have been doing this exact same kind of funding, and not just before COVID, but after COVID as well. As I pointed out last year, USAID was continuing to give tens of millions of dollars to these very same labs well after the pandemic broke out, and nothing was happening to stop it. And so I think it's interesting to watch the weeping and gnashing of teeth by Democrats who claim to care about about stopping public health disasters, who claim to care about things like animal torture, coming in and rabidly defending this organization. And really, this is just the tip of the iceberg. What the White Coat Waste Project discovered about USAID is how it operates in a myriad of sectors. They essentially take our dollars, they pass them through quote nonprofits that are nonprofits in name only. Those government contracts then get handed out through those nonprofits to people who are well connected, and it's just a way for them to launder money for their friends and inadvertently get it back in their own pockets. So this is how you can expect to see them moving in a ton of other sectors. But we know they were giving money to Echo Health Alliance, which was a very shady nonprofit that had been involved with this kind of risky research for years. We know that they were using that as a pass-through organization in order to do gain-of-function research in a country while it was illegal here in the United States. And so I think if you really start to look beneath the surface of this organization's operations, you can expect to find that all over the globe. We know that they have also been doing shady things like propping up propaganda campaigns in places like Ukraine, controlling the media, trying to put things on social media that turn people against their own governments. I mean, it's the kind of stuff that we freak out about when we even
clandestine operations.
Hint that it might be done here by other countries to us, but this is what our taxes have been funding with this organization. It's not about humanitarian aid whatsoever. It is a part of the deep state apparatus and has been working to carry out goals that have nothing to do with actually uplifting people in other countries, much less empowering the American people here.
Is it really fair to say that it is not whatsoever about humanitarian aid? I mean, as I understand it...
Nope, it's not aid.
They do literally provide food in quite a number of cases, do they not?
They do it, but they do it with strings attached, right? They come in and they always have ulterior motives for the kind of funding they are provided. And you can talk to many people in other countries who have been speaking out about this over the past couple of days as this has started to make headline news, saying, we don't want this aid. We don't want these people here. We don't want them involved in our country. So yeah, you might see them come in and offer to pay to build a school, but it's because the school is going to be pushing the curriculum that they want to have in there. You might see them offer to come in and build wells, but there's always going to be strings attached for things that those governments and those people have to do.
There's always going to be strings attached. I mean,
yep, always going to be strings attached.
Is it your contention that every single food parcel USAID provides has some sort of ulterior motive attached? They never do it for humanitarian reasons, in your view?
No, I don't think the government ever does anything for humanitarian reasons. I think that that is a guise. Of course, there might be people working within the organization who are daft enough to believe that that is what they are about, that's what their cause is. But we've seen enough of the reports and enough digging into their actual activities just over the past couple of days alone to know that there is no excuse for this organization to exist. I think it's absolutely insane.
I'm still going to give you some receipts of what they've done. Just relax. Just wait till the end.
Insane to suggest that humanitarian aid must be carried out by the government in general. We already know that the private market does that far better, far more efficiently, and at far greater rates than what the government does. Anytime the government gets involved in quote charity, I mean, you can expect to see pennies on the dollar actually making it to the cause. It ends up getting passed around to their friends. And that's why Democrats are truly upset about USAID getting dismantled, because this has been a cash cow for many of them and their friends who work at these nonprofits, these NGOs, and then also their contracts who are working with those organizations and getting very cushy handouts after those grants are dispersed. So this is a way for them to move money around. It's very, very lucrative for them. And I absolutely do not think that this is something that is...
And staying in the United States, an account linked to President Donald Trump claims Hungarian-American billionaire George Soros is responsible for interfering in the political landscape of many countries. The account claims that Soros used a hefty $260 million from USAID to spread chaos, change governments, and pursue personal gain in countries such as India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Ukraine. Now, this comes as the Trump administration continues to freeze USAID's budget, describing its initiatives as misaligned with American interests and accusing them of destabilizing global peace.
Well, many ideas, but look, he's done a great job. Look at all the fraud that he's found in this USAID. It's a disaster.
Well said, USAID.
People, radical left lunatics, they have things that nobody would have even believed. The whole thing with $100 million spent on you know what, with money going to all sorts of groups that shouldn't deserve to get any money, with the money. I'd like to see what the kickbacks are.
And billionaire Elon Musk, who's been critical of what he calls woke and controversial international projects, backs the smear campaign against Soros. In fact, this all comes as Donald Trump's
Smear campaign? Come on.
administration has shuttered the nation's premier development agency.
Well, it doesn't, but they get it very easily. I mean, we don't have very good security in our country, and they get it very easily. And what we're doing, if you look at what has just taken place with respect to some of the investments that have been made on another agency that people have been talking about for years, but nobody did anything about it, it's absolutely obscene, dangerous, bad, very costly. I mean, virtually every investment made is a con job. There's nothing of value to anybody unless there's a kickback scheme going on, which is possible. And we're going to be doing more and more of that.
Meanwhile, in Hungary, Prime Minister and Trump ally Viktor Orban has taken a stronger stance. Orban, in fact, has pledged to expose foreign-funded organizations and ensure legal consequences for those receiving money from abroad.
Illegal migration is Trump's enemy number one, but if you go down that list, you will find an unlikely name. USAID, the American government's charity arm. It's the biggest donor in the world. It manages 60 missions in 130 nations. But Trump is slowly killing it. All USAID staff have been placed on leave. Foreign aid has been frozen and their website has been taken down. Trump's justification is ideological. He says USAID was run by radical left lunatics. But politics aside, there is plenty to dig up here because USAID has a sketchy side too. They have meddled in other countries, funded radicals and run covert operations. We'll start with the radical funding. USAID has given money to a group called FIF, the Falah-e-Insaniyat Foundation. FIF, it is based in Pakistan. It is basically a front for Lashkar-e-Toiba, the same terror group behind the 26/11 Mumbai attacks.
Funding terrorists, okay.
USAID was indirectly funding them. In the year 2021, they gave $110,000 to a Michigan charity, a group called Helping Hand. And this charity shared ties with Pakistan's FIF. At the time, this donation was flagged. USAID also launched an internal probe into it because the FIF was a banned group. Yet in 2023, more money was given, around $78,000 to the same Michigan charity. Was this oversight or was it planned? Either way, it should not have happened. Aid should go to people who need it, not charities linked to terrorists and radicals. And this is just one example. Washington has always used aid to further its agenda. It was never about charity. It was about politics. I have some examples for you. In Cuba, USAID created a social media platform in 2010. It was called Zunzuneo, sort of like a Cuban Twitter.
Clandestine operations.
At first, it focused on music, sports and weather, but the end goal was sinister: to influence Cuban youth, to stir trouble and trigger street protests. But media investigations exposed this plan. Soon, the platform was shut down. Example number 2 is Bolivia. USAID funded opposition groups in this country. The goal was to destabilize its then president, Evo Morales. Now, Morales was a socialist leader. His policies were seen as anti-American, so USAID quietly undermined him. In 2013, Morales had had enough. He expelled USAID from the country. Example number 3 is Peru. In the 1990s, the country ran a sterilization program. Around 200,000 women were forcibly sterilized, again with funding from USAID. And these
Really?
are just just 3 prominent examples. Dozens of countries have accused USAID of meddling. Russia, Nicaragua, Iran, Honduras, the list goes on.
I don't know. If you still don't believe that USAID is part CIA, then I got no hope for you. I got no hope for you. You're on your own. Thank you and goodbye.